was the most enticing thing about the Oregon job when you decided to come here?
The opportunity, I thought, to win a national championship, to learn under, Dan Lanning and Tosh Lupoy, two guys I've admired for a long time. We talk about a growth mindset here, and it was just something I was looking for to grow in my career.
What was your previous relationship with Dan? How did you guys know each other just through the camp circuit? Where did that come from?
Yeah, I met him at a clinic in 2020. Just met him at a clinic and kind of stayed in touch a little bit. Obviously with COVID that year, did a couple of Zooms that we just talked football on. Was able to pick his brain on some things, and we had some mutual friends, and just went from there.
Robbie Disher gave you a couple of stories on him along the way too.
Yeah, Robbie Disher. Robbie was one of the guys. Definitely, that I had an opportunity to work with. Obviously, he and Dan, I think, were college teammates. He said a lot of great things about him, and he helped me out getting here.
What were your first impressions of this defense when you got to look at it?
I think we've got a chance to be really, really good. We're trending in the right directions. We have a lot of variety of things we can do. I think we got some great situational calls, a lot of things that I've learned, obviously, since I've been here. And I think we've got the pieces with the players to be pretty good.
I realize maybe the experience with you is new for everybody, but your group has a lot of guys that have played a lot of college football, whether it's here or elsewhere. Mm-hmm. How valuable is that for you guys?
I think it's extremely valuable. We've got a lot of guys who've seen a lot of things, here and other places. They've played a lot of snaps in real games, in hostile environments. They understand what we're doing. There's some terminology that's different from places that they came from, the guys who transferred in. We just have to, just translate it to what they remember from where they came from. This is part of football. But I think it's really good that we've got some older guys here, we got some experience, and hopefully it pays dividends in the fall.
A lot of coaches have talked about the recruiting gets a little bit easier once you get that O on your chest and you got, more resources at your availability. Have you noticed that since you got here?
Definitely. When you talk to the kids now, I mean, they know exactly who you are. You're a little bit prettier than I was in my previous spot. But the kids are definitely intrigued by coming here with the brand, with Nike, and just Oregon in general with winning, and then with Coach Lanning being here. So I think it all helps, and recruiting's been going great.
For those casual fans and observers who didn't watch Tulane as much last season, what was your background in simulated pressures and kind of your experience in working with it in terms of how much from Baylor's tree, Dan's tree, etc., and which are kind of shared anyway, but you get what I'm getting at.
Yep.
How much have you worked with simulated pressure?
Yeah, I tell you what, in 21 I did a ton of them. Wasn't as good at them as these guys have been here before, but we did a ton of them. And so we did a little bit this year in 22 at Tulane. We did much more in 21 than we did this year. I just think our personnel was different this year, and we weren't. Simulated pressures, we weren't as good at doing them. So we kind of scaled back on them. We do a lot more of them here, and I think we've got a different personnel and the ability to do it.
How much of a benefit is it for you guys, your secondary, your defense, to have to defend Bo Nix every day and have to defend this offense that's, was really good last year?
I think it's a tremendous challenge for us. He's going to make us better. He can extend plays with his legs, which is the big thing that quarterbacks, mobile quarterbacks, that's what gives defenses fits. We had a segment today in practice that he did it. So we've got to, stay in coverage. Sometimes you have to cover a little bit longer, which is really good. So we're playing a veteran quarterback every day, playing some really good receivers. We got some really good backs that we got to thud up and tackle in scrimmages. So I think it's a challenge each and every day going against our offense is going to make us better.
When you evaluate the guys you inherited, a guy like Brian Addison who had a second half of the season that was really, really productive.
Mm-hmm.
What do you see from him, and what have you seen from him so far this spring that makes him, made him a productive guy, makes him a guy that you could lean on and count on?
I think he's got tremendous length, first of all, and then he's got excellent ball skills from his wide receiver background. So I think that's a thing that he can really do is, play in the post and make plays from sideline to sideline on deep balls, and that's what we'll need him to do.
It's about J.J. Greenfield that allows him to play a little bit everywhere from a defensive back standpoint.
Really instinctive. Understands the game, understands what we're doing on defense. He's a smart football player. I think he loves the game. I think that's the first thing. I think he really loves football. Takes great notes each and every day. I like him. He's kind of a Swiss Army knife. He can do a lot of different things.
How What do you want the freshmen to get out of this first spring with Cody and Tyler? To obviously the experience, the reps, your meeting room, etc. What have you seen from them? What do you hope they get out of and have gotten out of so far?
Yeah, I think the big thing is the experience and the reps. Really is what you said. It's the biggest thing for them to get, just the reps, the experience, understanding the system. I think when you do it again in the summer and in fall camp, it'll be the second and third time doing it, so it'll be a little bit cleaner for them. I think the speed of the game. Football is football, but once you get to college, the game's a little bit faster. The guys are a little bit bigger and stronger. The one thing I've seen from both of them is that they're fearless. Tyler made some really nice studs out there today. Cody joined us a little bit later, but he's catching on really, really quick. They're both smart kids. I think they love football as well. So I'm fired up about both of them.
What are the traits you're just looking for your safeties to show on the field, whether they're current guys here or when you're out on the recruiting trail? What are those things you're looking to see translate on?
I think the first thing a safety has to be able to do is get the defense lined up. So we've got to be great communicators. And I think we've got to, every day I'm challenging them at that. We've got to improve, I think, in that area. But I think we're getting better and better. But we've got to do a great job of communication first. And then we've got to have the ability to tackle when the ball spits. So we've got to do a better job of that, of tackling, getting guys down, and then communication.
Has there been a guy that's emerged as a good communicator for you that you can rely on right now?
Steve Stevens is probably our best overall communicator. He's played a lot of football. He's been here in the system for a year. He's confident, knows exactly what we're doing. So he's doing an excellent job of that.
How much are guys cross-training in terms of, I'm talking about from room to room more than on the field. So for a guy like Evan or Taisheem, how much are they with Joe? Are they with you? Are they with both? How are you guys working?
They're with me. But we've got some guys that are going from corner to safety that Coach Martin and myself are swapping in and out, whether it be Cole, or Triquest Bridges. There's some guys that we're working at multiple spots. We're training our safeties at both spots, field and boundary. We're training guys that start in corner. We're training guys that start in safety, just so when the season comes, they've had reps at it. And if someone gets injured, they've at least done it before, so we can plug and play the best guy and not just the next guy.
Tell us a little bit about, just from the play calling standpoint at Tulane, how much of that was exclusively you and how autonomous was it, or how much of it was a shared operation, or just how things?
Nah, it was really me. Coach Fritz gave me the keys to it. He kind of was hands off, and he let you do, whatever you really want to do. You just had to work. That was kind of the deal there. So, but no, I'm really thankful for him and allowing me to do that. He gave a lot of suggestions on technique fundamentals. He was really overseer of that. He coached technique fundamentals, ball security, takeaways, tackling. Those were his big deals. Leverage, pursuit to the football. He let me do all the X and O's.
And part of why I ask is because people hear that and naturally they go, why would you give a play calling opportunity as a coordinator to a co-coordinator and not play calling?
Correct. And a lot of people have asked me that. And I think really and truly, honestly, when I was talking to these guys, they said something to me about a growth mindset. And at first I was kind of, I was thinking the same thing. And then they said that, and I was like, you're right. Like, that's why I want to do this, is to grow. I'm 37 now. I was 36 when I came. And so I think I've got a long career, and I just want to grow and learn. I think there's always opportunities, to learn, and I think that's invaluable. And so I want to come here and just learn.
Talking about technique, so many times you see a DB, if you just turn and look for the ball, you get an interception rather than an interference or the guy catching it. So how do you teach that, this fine line between looking and
Yeah, correct, it is. There's a certain time and a certain place on the field that you need to lean and locate and look for the ball. There's also a certain time you need to play through the man, depending if he has space to make the catch or not, and if he can shield you off. So there's just some technique drills that you have to do to work on their timing. A lot of it's innate ability. Can the guys do it? Is some of you don't have to overcoach. And the guys, he's got the talent. That's why you recruit. Can he play the ball then play the man? There's some guys who can do that, and there's times to do it. You've got to coach it, obviously. But some guys have a special skill set.
you just see it in their eye, the receiver's eyes? Can you read off that at all?
Yeah, you can tell from his eyes whether the ball's coming from his shoulder location, whether his shoulder's back or his shoulder's forward. Whether the ball's coming back shoulder or it's going over the top. So you talk about looking from his shoulder to his earlobe, and seeing where the ball's coming in. And that tells you, okay, how do I need to play the guy? If it's here, that means the ball's coming over the top. If his shoulder and earlobe's back, then I need to play into him because it's going to be a back shoulder fade. So, yeah, you definitely do that. You key through his shoulder and his earlobe.
Talk about Steve and how he's taking a step forward. He's a big vocal leader. You yourself want to grow just as a coach and become a better coach in person. Are there any players you think aren't quite there in terms of being the vocal leader, but they have the characteristics. Do you think that they could potentially become a great one come fall in the future?
Yeah, I think both our freshmen can. I think they both got those type of traits and ability. But right now, when you're a freshman, it's new. You're just trying to make sure that you're doing things right, that you're saying the right things. You're a little unsure. That's just natural. But I think both of those guys, Cody and Tyler, both have those traits to be that type of guy in the future for us here. And I think they can do it.
You're having those early conversations with them?
Yeah, definitely. Starting trying to build that right now. I think that's the first thing a safety has to do is get the defense lined up. So, and they've got to be great communicators.